la Vergine degli angeli mi copra del suo manto e me protegga vigile di Dio l'angelo santo.
It's December, and we're in the midst of the Christmas holiday season. It's that time of year when we try to find a special gift for the person who already has everything they need. Each year, Brethren Voices features an alternative gift-giving idea. Even so, please remember, for those special people in our lives, the best gift you can give is probably yourself, your care, your friendship, and your love. But again, this year, we have an alternate gift-giving idea that we recommend. And we recommend this year a gift to the Brethren Disaster Ministries in the name of that special person on your list. Brethren Disaster Ministries assists people to rebuild following disasters. And this year, we have really had plenty of disasters. We're going to share what Brethren Disaster Ministries does and its many volunteers and what they have been doing to assist survivors of some of these disasters. The needs are truly overwhelming. The 2017 hurricane season brought devastation and flooding to areas in the United States and the Atlantic Caribbean and hard-hit Puerto Rico. Brethren Disaster Ministries and Children's Disaster Services have already responded. But as some of you know, it's a long road to recovery. Since 1980, Children's Disaster Services has been meeting the needs of children and adults by setting up child care centers in shelters and disaster assistance centers across the nation. Volunteers who are specially trained provide a calm, safe, and reassuring presence in the midst of the chaos created by natural and human-caused disasters. This service allows parents to know their children are well cared for and protected, while they focus on carrying out the needed tasks of submitting government forms and other disaster-related business. Volunteers from across the country participate in specialized experiential training. They undergo a rigorous screening process, and they learn to work with children who have experienced a disaster. The volunteers are capable of mobilizing rapidly and respond both locally and nationally. Volunteers arrive at a disaster with a kit of comfort containing carefully selected toys that promote imaginative play. They give children individualized attention and encourage them to express themselves, which begins the healing process. Many volunteers are motivated by faith, but the training is open to anyone over 18 years of age. We received permission from pianist and composer Ken Medema to share one of his compositions that he improvised about children's disaster services. Ken has been performing for over 40 years in many different venues. Though blind from birth, Ken sees and hears with his heart and mind, and through improvisation creates in front of his audience. We share his creation, Teach Me How to Play Again.
So our adventures involve responding to disaster situations, often with Red Cross, and to be with the kids and play with them, to renew our skills in Play-Doh and remembering how to fold up paper airplanes and whatever else the situation demands. And you collect a lot of good kid wisdom along the way. In May, I was in Houston after the floods, and my favorite quote from that trip was the kid who after playing with us for a couple days said, "You guys are just really, really, really big kids, aren't you?" Anyway, it's a wonderful ministry, and we all need to play. And these kids in traumatic situations, it's very important. And we need a theme song, Ken.
Yes. Teach me how to play again. Teach me the wonder. Teach me how to play again when life is going under. Teach me how to play again when tragedies all around. Teach me how to play again, for a playground is holy ground. Teach me how to roll again, rolling in the dirt. Teach me how to run again when everything seems to hurt. Bring me some Play-Doh so I can build something brand new. And all the old stuff I depended on has been broken through and through. Teach me how to laugh again. You're just a great big kid. Teach me how to leap again, just like I used to did. Teach me how to run and play, just for a moment of time, when everything I've come to know and love is torn from this life of mine. Teach me how to play again. Take me by the hand. Teach me how to try again, walking through this desert land. Teach me how to play again. These lessons I must learn when all the bridges to my yesterdays have been broken down and burned. Teach me how to love again when loving seems so hard. I hide myself away from life. I'm always on my guard. Tragedy will probably strike again. I can't be vulnerable once more. I'll hide away under a table somewhere. I'll hide away behind the door. I'll hide away where you can't find me. I'll hide away 'cause I'm scared silly. I'll hide away and I'll cry by myself. I'll hide away 'cause I don't want to see anyone. I'll hide away 'cause my mom's not coming back. I'll hide away 'cause I don't know where my father is. I'll hide away 'cause my house is all in ruins. I'll hide away 'cause I cannot take the pain. And there you are. You call my name. And you don't say much, except in your hand is a little piece of paper that you fold into an airplane. And I somehow can't resist you. And somehow, before I know it, I'm on the floor beside you. And we're rolling out the Play-Doh. And I'm building a house with Legos, like the house I lost and want again. And tomorrow we will play again. You promised you'll come back again. And tomorrow I will talk to you like I couldn't talk today. Tomorrow I will talk to you. And tomorrow we will play. Teach me how to play again.
My, oh my. Did that bring tears to your eyes? Since 1980, the volunteers of Children's Disaster Services have served families of all types, regardless of faith, race, background, or whatever. For more information about the work of Children's Disaster Services, please go to www.brethren.org/CDS. You can also learn more about how to support the disaster relief work of the Church of the Brethren by giving to the Emergency Disaster Fund at www.brethren.org/EDF. An important activity of the Brethren is the rebuilding efforts of Brethren Disaster Ministries, which began many years before Children's Disaster Services. When we ask, when did Brethren begin building following disasters, we were told, it's something the Brethren have always done. When a farmer's barn burned down, everyone would pitch in to assist in the rebuilding. It's just an example that was given to us by Jesus. The Brethren Disaster Ministries Rebuild Program engages volunteers from all over the country to repair and rebuild storm-damaged homes for some of the most vulnerable disaster survivors, thereby easing their trauma and promoting their recovery. By demonstrating Christ's love and putting their faith into action, volunteers restore and rebuild homes, and they restore the broken lives of those who lost them. Trained construction leaders provide volunteer orientation and instruction on the work site. And unskilled volunteers can work right alongside those who are skilled. Meals and volunteer housing are also provided, often in local churches or community buildings. It's a wonderful way of building relationships in the community. Responding to any disaster is a long-term effort that takes many years. Hurricanes Irma and Maria left a path of destruction across many islands in the Pacific. Maria caused widespread destruction, flooding, and mudslides, and knocked out the entire electrical grid in Puerto Rico. The Brethren have had a presence in Puerto Rico for many years. It's reported that 20 homes of the Church of the Brethren members have received major damage and flooding. So far, the Brethren have already donated 37 tons of supplies and blankets, and more shipments are planned. At this time, volunteers to rebuild are not being sent to Puerto Rico because of the burden they would create for communities that are still having problems just getting food and fresh water for daily living. Let's take a look at some of the volunteer efforts of the rebuilding projects of the Church of the Brethren Disaster Ministries.
Brethren Disaster Ministries is a place where volunteers can come and they can live out their faith, and through service and through the way Christ called us to serve those in the greatest need. And they don't need to be skilled, they just need to have a heart to serve.
The whole rebuilding program is around volunteers. It takes weekly volunteers from our congregations and districts who come together, and they go into these communities, and they're quietly witnessing and changing lives as they rebuild homes and repair homes.
Steve Kime served as a long-term construction leader at Brethren Disaster Ministry sites, such as Colorado, where volunteers worked for almost 2 years to help survivors recover from devastating fires and floods.
It's doing the type of things I like doing, which is fixing things and helping people. We work mainly with people who are either underinsured or don't have insurance, or who maybe have gotten partway done and then can't finish it.
People like Kirk and Adela Hawks.
It's been kind of overwhelming, and so I just have my deepest sense of gratitude for you folks coming out here and helping us out. And this whole house thing with the fires and the floods is just got overwhelming.
It was a huge relief because it was like a huge weight was lifted.
The people who've experienced disasters, it seems to be therapy for them to share their story. It opens my mind to all of what reality consists of.
We really encourage our volunteers to sit down and listen to homeowners, that's as important as the work that they're doing on the house.
That's one of the ways that we help the homeowners heal, is to sit and listen to them as they share their story with us.
It's a beautiful thing to have people that you don't even know that are willing to come out, and support you and help you in situations where, we're having a hard time dealing with.
We have the opportunity to come and to give them a little bit of their life back.
Once you've been out and you see what it's like and how you've helped others and blessed them, they want to return. There's a lot of returning volunteers.
We've been here now a month, so we're looking at close to 60 people that have come through, and of those 60, probably 45 are returning at least for the second time.
This makes my 42nd trip. I like to help people, and the good book says, if you've done the least these, my brethren, you've done unto me. So I obey Jesus' command.
It shows what we believe in, how Jesus was a servant, and that we're serving and trying to share love and help others.
The first few projects I worked on, they had been told so many things and nothing happened, and all of a sudden we were able to help them, and the joy on their faces, it's indescribable.
It's been a tremendous blessing to get people to come from other states and on their own dime and to help out a stranger. It's just a true expression of Christian love, I guess, and it's just taught me a lot about who the Brethren are. They're here just to provide service in the name of their religion, in the name of Jesus, which I think is just marvelous.
Another way Brethren Disaster Ministries supports disaster survivors is through its Children's Disaster Services program.
The most important thing that we do is we care for children in times of disaster so that they can share their stories, they can share their feelings, and it really begins the healing process in each and every child that is able to experience that.
Since 1980, Children's Disaster Services has been meeting the needs of children by setting up child care centers in shelters and disaster assistance centers across the nation. Specially trained to respond to traumatized children, CDS volunteers provide a calm, safe, and reassuring presence in the midst of the chaos created by tornadoes, floods, hurricanes, wildfires, and any natural or human-caused disaster.
Parents, the adults in the family, are called to do something else, fill out paperwork, tell their story, get further assistance, and it's very difficult to focus when the children are tagging along. And the neat thing is that Children's Disaster Services will find a separate environment for our children to play. They can draw, they can color, they can snack on food, and the neat thing is the parents know they're safe.
Children's Disaster Services relies on a strong network of volunteers and partners across the country. As the only program in the U.S. exclusively dedicated to meeting the needs of children after disasters, CDS is being increasingly relied on by the American Red Cross and FEMA to care for children. 2016 was Children's Disaster Services' busiest year ever.
This has been very helpful. It's a blessing from God. I was able to get a break. I was able to register with the Red Cross disaster team, and hopefully it'll help us put our lives back together.
Recently, Children's Disaster Services began working with children in Nigeria who have been traumatized by the extremist group Boko Haram, which has been terrorizing the northeastern part of the country since 2014. Children, some of whom have seen their parents murdered before their eyes, have been offered trauma healing sessions developed by Children's Disaster Services at the request of the Church of the Brethren in Nigeria.
For a lot of us, it's very foundational in our church and our faith experience to reach out to children. Jesus certainly modeled that and modeled having the children come to him, laying his hands on them. So I think that's, for a lot of us, we're sort of naturally drawn to this work.
This type of response is relatively new to Brethren Disaster Ministries. The traditional response to overseas disasters has been to support the work of trusted international partners such as Church World Service or Heifer International. who either already have a presence in the area or are able to respond quickly to the needs of survivors of floods, earthquakes, tsunamis, or refugees fleeing violence in their homeland.
More and more, we're having to start our own programs as we've responded in Haiti after the earthquake and hurricanes, and in Nigeria after that crisis started.
In Nigeria, Brethren Disaster Ministries coordinated a huge multi-million-dollar response funded by U.S. Brethren but coordinated with the Nigerians to help relocate thousands of displaced people, provide emergency food relief, job training, and trauma healing, and eventually rebuilding of homes and churches destroyed by Boko Haram.
So it's this blend of partnering, finding local partners, and trying to equip so that we really meet the needs. But it's the same mission of trying to go in and support community and people in their own recovery. We don't come in and tell people how to do it. We come in and support people through a process of their own recovery.
Brethren Disaster Ministries has supported churches responding to refugees from Burundi who have fled to the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Rwanda, and to those suffering from hunger in South Sudan, and to Syrian children displaced to Lebanon. A major partner has been Church of the Brethren congregations in Haiti who have responded to the 2010 earthquake and more recently the devastation of Hurricane Matthew. The funding that allows all of this work to happen comes from the Church of the Brethren congregations and individuals through donations to the Emergency Disaster Fund, and through the support of 3 large disaster auctions held each year by volunteers in 4 Church of the Brethren districts. Those funds provide a level of support for volunteers in the Rebuild program that is rarely matched.
Whenever our volunteers go out, we cover their food, their transportation, tools, and their housing. And many other organizations, you pay a per diem fee. Through those generous donations to the Emergency Disaster Fund, we're able to host our volunteers and support them in a way that other organizations are not able to. And so that is definitely a unique thing about the Brethren Disaster Ministries rebuild projects.
Those who participate in this ministry see transformation all around them. Homes are transformed. The lives of homeowners are transformed, as are the lives of volunteers who make the program possible.
At some point in time, you lose yourself in what we're doing, and it becomes a worship experience, and you feel truly blessed.
The reign of God is to make all of us whole. And there are instances like this where a flood comes in and people aren't whole. You know, they may be whole in spirit, but their houses need some work done on them so that they can be whole again. And so if disciples of Jesus can be a part of providing a bit of that wholeness or the movement toward that wholeness of God's plan, then that's fantastic for us to have the opportunity.
So how about committing yourself to a week as a volunteer? We urge you to contact your Brethren Disaster Coordinator or the Brethren Disaster Ministry at brethren.org. You can go as an individual and join another group. You can organize a small group. Some churches routinely go as a group every year. It's a great activity and so rewarding.
Every 5 seconds, a person is displaced, forced to leave their home in order to escape war, persecution, or natural disaster. It has become a global issue in not only Africa and Asia, but also in Europe, the Middle East, and the Americas. Almost 60 million people worldwide, a number that we have not reached at any point since World War II. About 20 million of these people are forced to flee their countries entirely, while the other 40 million are displaced within their own country. The reality of these numbers is staggering. Almost half are children below the age of 18. Children who have spent their entire childhood far away from the home they once knew. Children who have witnessed unthinkable acts of violence. Children who grew up to have children of their own in that same refugee camp, still far away from their home. Neighboring countries are struggling to provide for the needs of the refugees and their children and simply can't do it alone. However, there is hope. Organizations from all over the world are looking to build networks of compassion and vitality where refugees can thrive and fulfill their dreams. The overwhelming need has never been greater, so let's respond like never before.
There you have it, our suggestions for an alternate Christmas gift for the person who already has most of what they need, and that includes us. This year, many have experienced many different kinds of disasters, including some caused by people. Our thoughts and prayers go out to all as we ask that you assist by providing a gift to Brethren Disaster Ministries. And you too will benefit knowing that you have helped ease the pain of so many around the world. This is Brent Carlson for Brethren Voices, wishing you peace and a Merry Christmas.